we'll show you how volunteers in Johnson County are helping out flood victims and first responders.
Putting the wraps on another much-needed dry day across central and eastern Kentucky. Straight ahead, though, we'll talk about some steam and, unfortunately, a few storms.
And 3 days after the deadly floods in Johnson County, it's a race against the clock for search and rescue crews. What they're doing to find a man believed to be swept away by high water.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon. We're tracking a breaking national story right now. 5 people have been killed, including the gunman, after attacks at 2 different military facilities in Tennessee. The shootings happened before 1 this afternoon in Chattanooga, one of them at a military recruiting center in a strip mall. Then, about 7 miles away at the Navy Operational Support Center and Marine Corps Reserve Center. WKYT's Sam Dick is at the live desk with the latest breaking details. Sam?
Jennifer, details are still coming out, but we do know that 4 of the 5 people killed were U.S. Marines. The other was the shooter. Officials are calling this a case of an act of domestic terrorism. Law enforcement say that 2 others were wounded in the shootings today, a soldier and a police officer. The officer was in surgery. He's expected to be okay. President Obama has been checking with his staff and being briefed by the national security team on the shootings. A White House spokesman said that the president will continue getting updates from his staff as needed. A reaction is also coming in from other lawmakers. Senator Bob Corker, who is a Republican from Tennessee, says, "I'd like to join our senior senator in expressing our deep sorrow for those who have been affected, extending our thoughts and prayers to the families." Witnesses say that bursts of gunfire lasted for about 20 minutes. Authorities have not said yet how the gunman was killed, but again, 5 people dead, 4 of them U.S. Marines. We'll have a report from Chattanooga on WKYT News coming up at 5 o'clock. At the live desk, Sam Dick, WKYT. Jennifer?
Thank you, Sam. Victims of this week's devastating floods are getting another dry day as they continue to clean up. In addition to Johnson County, Rowan County also has a lot of damage. This is a live look at a dry and sunny afternoon in Moorhead. So how long will the rain stay away? Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is in the First Alert Weather Center to tell us. Chris?
Yeah, a lot of folks getting in on the dry and the sunshiny weather across the region today, Jennifer. That is certainly welcome news. And folks out there seeing a similar sky to the one we are seeing right now over the downtown Lexington area, and especially the Hamburg Pavilion area, where we're looking at on our live sky cam. Though it's a day that started out with a lot of low clouds and fog, breaking out into full sunshine. Then did you notice around noon, 1 o'clock or so, we started to see some clouds billowing up? Well, a lot of that courtesy of just how wet the ground is. Keeping temperatures in check again. It is another below normal temperature day in progress across central and eastern Kentucky. It's 83 degrees. Normal high should be around 87 for this time of year. Humidity is up there, so it actually feels much hotter than what your thermometer is showing. That wet ground is going to continue to play a big role in keeping temperatures down over the next couple of days compared to what we could be seeing for this time of year. A lot of low 80s taking shape across the area. Some areas of eastern Kentucky barely making out of the upper 70s again. Nothing on Defender. Good news there. Hey, if you're a fan of true summertime steam, we've got it for you coming in from southwest to northeast. Unfortunately, the steam may bring the threat for some storms back into the forecast. Jennifer, we'll track it all with the hour-by-hour outlook in 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Search and rescue efforts continue in flood-ravaged Johnson County. The focus right now is on finding a man who's been missing for 3 days. Rescuers found a 3rd body yesterday. A canine unit has given officers clues on where to search, but Kentucky State Police say one of the biggest obstacles for crews is getting to that area. Crews have to deal with mosquitoes and snakes, as well as piles of rubble and mud.
There's a tremendous amount of debris and very difficult conditions getting to some of the debris in the first place to remove it. So some of it's not amenable to just hand removal, and it requires heavier equipment, excavators, things of that nature.
Utility crews say they're making progress restoring power and water service to the area. State police are also doing door-to-door checks for people who've not been able to get in touch with their loved ones. Volunteers at a Johnson County church are helping feed flood victims and first responders. Sam Smith is at the Big Mud Lick Church of God with our top story at 4.
Volunteers from the Big Mud Lick First Church of God here in Johnson County have been out here since yesterday serving food to anyone that needs it. Hot dogs, burgers, drinks, and dessert are all on the menu. Members of this church, along with church members from other parts of the county, are contributing here to help those impacted by flooding or the first responders helping out those flood victims. They're located on Kentucky 172, where state police are controlling traffic in the Flat Gap area of the county. The Flat Gap area was among the hardest hit in Johnson County.
We'd like to send our prayers out to all those people who have been affected by this, and we're just praying for them constantly.
They say they witnessed the flood damage and wanted to do something to help.
Well, my heart is broken over this situation, but the one good thing is the willingness to see people come together.
Volunteers say there's no set schedule. They'll be out here as long as there's a need. In Johnson County, Sam Smith, WKYT.
And the dinner tonight will be spaghetti, and they'll be serving meals again tomorrow. WKYT and the Bluegrass chapter of the American Red Cross are joining forces to help victims of this week's floods. Kentucky Cares is tomorrow from noon until 6:30 p.m. Volunteers will take donations over the phone from a special call center inside WKYT's studios. We'll also spotlight the need for donations and relief efforts during our newscasts. It didn't take long for police to arrest a man they say robbed a bank in Richmond. Police arrested 37-year-old Eric No minutes after they say he robbed the Chase Bank on Main Street. It happened about 10 this morning. Police say No was wearing a mask, a black hoodie, white T-shirt, and a black backpack with a red stripe when he held up the bank. Police caught him near his apartment less than 2 blocks from the bank. We're working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott is in the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. Police have arrested 2 men accused of dragging a dog to death. Lexington police say Jesse Durham and Vincent O'Brien drove with the dog tied to the back of the car from Charleston Court until they were stopped near Wanda Way. Witnesses called police. Police eventually went to O'Brien's home with animal control and took several other dogs. One of O'Brien's neighbors told us she was there when he returned home.
Him and the gentleman that was with him went running inside, and it was approximately 2 minutes or less than when here come a police car and 4 others followed behind him.
Jesse Durham is still in jail. O'Brien was released on bail around 4 this morning. We'll have more on this story coming up on WKYT News at 4:30. There are some new details today in a Lexington murder case. 32-year-old Vanessa Napier is accused of killing 53-year-old John Sharp at his home on Athens Walnut Hill Pike. During a hearing today, officers said Napier told them Sharp sexually assaulted her, handcuffed her, and threatened her with a knife. Police say Napier admitted to stabbing Sharp while he slept. Officers arrested Napier after they say she stole a bucket truck and led them on a 40-mile chase while under the influence.
She made an attempt to strike my vehicle. She didn't succeed. She accelerated and ran the cruiser that was in front of her.
A judge sent Napier's case to a grand jury. We'll have more on what happened in court ahead for you on WKYT News at 5. And today, Kroger cut the ribbon on its largest store in Kentucky. The new store in Versailles opened this morning. It includes murals from local artists along with local products. The $24 million project created 150 new jobs. The Versailles Kroger is one of the 3 Krogers in the country with Click List. It allows you to place an order on Kroger's website, drive to the store, and have someone bring it right to you. That is a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thank you, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. A developing story in Colorado where the jury has reached a verdict in the trial of James Holmes. He admitted to killing 12 people in a movie theater nearly 3 years ago during a showing of The Dark Knight Rises. More than 70 people were hurt. If jurors find Holmes guilty, they'll have to decide on the death penalty or life in prison without parole. A not guilty by reason of insanity verdict would send him to a mental facility. We'll bring you the verdict from Centennial, Colorado as soon as we know it. Today, President Barack Obama became the first sitting president to visit a federal prison. He toured a facility in Oklahoma and met with inmates to try to build momentum for criminal justice reform. Just last week, the president commuted the sentences of 46 nonviolent drug offenders across the country. Mark Albert reports.
In cell 123, President Obama got a look at what life is like for the 1,300 inmates at the medium security El Reno Federal Penitentiary near Oklahoma City.
So many young people end up in our criminal justice system. It's not normal. It's not what happens in other countries.
The U.S. prison system is 8 times larger than it was in 1980, costing taxpayers $7 billion a year.
We have to reconsider whether 20-year, 30-year life sentences for nonviolent crimes is the best way for us to solve these problems.
The issue appears to be gaining rare bipartisan traction here on Capitol Hill, including support from the Speaker of the House.
We've got a lot of people in prison, frankly, that really, in my view, really don't need to be there.
Several bipartisan bills would try to reduce the prison population by boosting inmate education programs, cutting sentences for those with good behavior, and overhauling mandatory minimum sentencing rules. About half of federal inmates are nonviolent drug offenders. Mark Albert, CBS News, Washington.
The Department of Justice's Inspector General has found the costs of incarceration are hurting the department's ability to make other public safety investments. Congress has created a blue ribbon task force to find ways to reduce the prison system's social and financial costs while ensuring safety. Its recommendations are due by the end of the year.